Hi all, welcome to Data Ad Hoc stream. It's stream number 37, and today there is a one interesting topic. I found this Git podcast, this .com, gitpodcast.com portal, where uh, s- the motto is simple, like repository to podcast. So any GitHub repository, you can convert it into podcast. So they mentioned that turn any GitHub repository into engaging podcast in seconds. This is useful for quickly understanding projects via podcast. You can also replace hub with podcast in any GitHub URL. So we will check this, and it is like developer most of the time they check GitHub, try to contribute or try to showcase their work, and anyone want to understand their repository or explain their repository, this particular app will be more useful, because instead of going through odd codes and understanding different, like in summary basis, this will give exact answer for that. Yes, read me there, big like programmer can mention that what is the detail about that repository, but I think with this you will get more detailed information in short time. So let's check. So for this we have this GitHub ranking repository created by Evenly. So they have this 100 like 100 repository from GitHub, which are largest. So we can see that free code camp, it is number one GitHub repository with 4 lakh 4,438 stars and 37K folks. It is in TypeScript language. Open issues are there, are free code camps dot open source code base and curriculum. Learn to code for free. So they have like kept free for all, so anyone can use it. And last commit on October 2024. So we will try to uh, use this, and let's check if we get a quick understanding of this particular repository or not. It's ready. So with this,
Welcome back to Next Gen Innovators. Today, we're diving into a rich
so I think they have this intro part where it gives more feel about similar to podcast instead of direct like description. So we need to wait for some time.
conversation on the intricacies of a sophisticated project structure. I'm your host, Karen. With me is Dustin, an experienced software architect who will help unravel the complexities of this system.
I think Dustin is a fictional name, and he will try to explain with co-host host Karen. With Karen will ask question and Dustin will explain
Welcome back to
repository.
Next of this system. Welcome, Dustin. Let's jump right in.
Thank you, Karen. I'm excited to be here to discuss this interesting project. Let's get started.
Okay, Dustin, looking at the file tree provided, it's quite extensive. Could you give us a basic idea of the overall architecture and the main components of the system?
Sure, Karen. This project is a full-stack application. It comprises three main components: the backend API server, the front-end client, and a curriculum module.
Let's check curriculum. Then It's already self-explanatory from README, but still we are going through to get a conversation feel.
The backend houses the API server with various configurations and data models. The frontend is built with numerous React components. And then we have the curriculum module containing educational content that's rich in structure.
That's comprehensive. What
Curriculum model.
makes this project unique or technically intriguing? Dustin?
I would say it's the layout of the curriculum module. It supports multiple languages and has directories dedicated to various certification paths, which is quite unique.
We can see here are 50 projects in the curriculum. It seems four legacy certification, which is correctly identified this Git podcast.
There's a lot of localization and modularity involved, making it both challenging and exciting from a technical standpoint.
Interesting. The project seems to follow certain design principles and architectural patterns. Can you illustrate some of those?
Absolutely. For the backend, we have used the Model View Controller, or MVC, pattern quite extensively.
View control. That's I'm not sure what is it. Model view controller. Let's check full podcast.
The models are organized under various subdirectories for efficient data handling. Also, the codebase utilizes ESLint and Jest for testing and linting, ensuring high code quality. On the front end, it employs a component-based architecture with React, which, combined with Redux and Tailwind CSS, offers a robust and scalable solution.
That's insightful. Dustin. Let's talk about the interactions and relationships between these components. How do they communicate or integrate with each other?
The client and curriculum sections mostly interact with the backend API server via RESTful services. It helps to fetch content and modify the state as required by the application logic. There are also several asynchronous calls implemented to fetch user-related data and course information securely and efficiently.
That sure sounds well integrated. Given the size and complexity of this project, how important is documentation?
Here you can see more of like human tone we see here, like instead of just talking in a robotic manner, we can say here emotions throughout this GitHub Git podcast. So it's very engaging.
For such a system.
Extremely important, Karen. The README files, along with other documentation like contributing.md and the detailed API documentation,
Contributing MD. Okay. So README has all detailed explanation. So what they mention, API documentation part. So uh, like it seems all the from all different like folders and files, it extract information, overall information for a quick summary.
MD and the detailed API documentation serve as guides for developers. It ensures consistent coding and helps new team members ramp up quickly.
That's great to know, Dustin. Any closing thoughts or advice for those looking to build similarly complex systems?
I'd say,
So it already identified as it is not basic or moderate like range of this repository. It is complex, which is it is.
always prioritize maintainability and modularity. It makes scaling up easier and ensures that new features can be implemented seamlessly without disrupting the existing system.
Well said, Dustin. Thank you for joining us today and sharing your insights on this complex project structure.
My pleasure, Karen. Thank you for having me.
And thank you to our listeners. Be sure to tune in next time for more discussions on innovative tech solutions. Until then, keep innovating.
So it was very engaging and very informative, insightful podcast, which explain in short of this one of the largest GitHub repository. I have only one suggestion, that instead of like if we have like let's say uh, download is, I think download is in audio file. Oh, it is text file, so it is helpful. It is not. We can't understand from this like uh, so from this download I'm not able to understand uh, text or get transcript of this podcast. Also in download in download there should be two option, like transcript and audio format. So on the go, anyone without internet can download that this podcast and listen anytime. Also, and this API, they have only this much, and I'm not sure how to use it. But API like this API developer can use to create more a similar similar product basis on this Git podcast. I have idea that it is created by Bandar Labs. So they have this Git podcast uh, repository. Like for this podcast, they have uh, repository. So we'll try to check if they how they interpret themselves. It's 5 minutes. Let's try to check for 1 or 2 minutes.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Codebase Chronicles. I'm your host, Ava.
Every time name changes.
Today, we are delving into the world of Git Podcast, a fascinating application that turns any GitHub repository
They are praising themselves.
into an engaging podcast in mere seconds. Joining us today is tech-savvy engineer Mike Brown, who's been extensively developing in the podcast space. Hey, Mike. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ava. It's great to be here and share insights on how Git Podcast works.
Great, Mike.
So, like audio or uh, like audio is same for male and female, but tone changes with this descriptive text. So, as per script, tone changes quickly.
Let's jump in. Could you give us an overview of the Git Podcast project?
Sure thing. So, Git Podcast is a platform that transforms GitHub repositories into audio formats. It uses SSML, or Speech Synthesis Markup Language, along with Azure's Speech SDK and OpenAI technologies.
So it is based on AI, and yes, of course, and it is one of the AI tools where you use this GitHub repository. So today we discuss this Git podcast, and very useful. It is very useful for developer. Uh, Last but not the least, let's try to check this one. Yeah, it goes to same repository, which is Git podcast. So that's it for today for data ad hoc stream number 37. Thank you for all.